here we are on this frigid,
Yay!
snowy,
Yay!
mark it down, November 9th, people, first snow of the season. Big
Delighted me.
flakes.
Big
Yeah.
flakes. I knew it would flurry. I knew it'd be a little bit, but I was not expecting driving through a snow globe on my way to Kroger. I loved it.
Yeah. Camden and Lily were thrilled.
Oh,
Camden was
amazing.
like, "Can we go out and build a snowman now?" Like, well, it's not quite snowman
Uh-huh.
level, but that day will
You can go
come.
romp.
So,
Yeah. Violet and
yeah,
June enjoyed watching it outside the window. It's so cute. They both just prop up on the couch and stare out the
yeah,
window, and they were both into it.
mesmerizing.
Hmm.
Love it.
Love it. Well, here we are.
Here we are.
Welcome.
And oh yeah, oh my bad. Oh boy. Welcome everyone. See, I'm distracted by the snow. Welcome everyone to episode 17 of
Wild.
Millennial Mom Thoughts.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
And I'm going to do something a little different to begin this episode just because of the topic that we are covering. I'm going to include a disclaimer. So if you normally have your little children running around near you while you play our podcast, uh, quick heads up that today's episode is going to be referencing some difficult topics like child sexual abuse materials, sextortion, and suicide. So, we do not recommend having little ears nearby while you are listening to this episode. So, it is a heavy topic, but a necessary one.
Hmm.
And we unfortunately won't really even like skim the surface of all of the awfulness, but it's just something if you haven't heard of that topic, that word sextortion before, we're gonna dive into that today.
Hmm.
So
Oh, I'm
before we jump in, any other non-snow life updates to
Ooh.
to share?
Let's see. What updates do I have to share? Violet is still army crawling, but like army crawling, like
Okay.
she's everywhere all the time. And it's
Mobile.
amazing. We were just having the reflection this weekend of like, I feel like she has grown so much just in the last week and the week before
Yeah.
that and the week before that. Like everything's just happening so quickly. Like I can't even remember what it was like before she could move like this. It's just
Yeah.
it's beautiful and wonderful and we love it. Also, I had two kind of big wins professionally this week. I got
Oh,
accepted for both. I mean, a book chapter that I knew was in the works, but got the official confirmation that I'll be included in this collection.
well, how
And also
cool.
got accepted to lead a workshop at a writing symposium in January, which
Well,
I'm
how fun
super
is
pumped about.
that?
Yeah, yeah. So very excited on that.
Well,
I'll give
congratulations.
more details as we get closer, but
Yes,
once
please.
once I get this workshop kind of going, I'm yeah, really looking forward to it. And was just kind of that like good validation that I needed at this point in the semester for sure of like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
no, I am doing
I know what
cool
I'm
things
doing.
that some people are also think are cool and interested in. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm golden. I'm great.
You're good.
Please, Jordan, bring me down. I'm just
No,
kidding.
no.
No, like
I
you
have
said,
good
it
up.
was
I was gonna say
good,
I
good,
have
good,
good
good.
updates that aren't
Yeah.
yet diving into
Yeah.
this topic. Well, so I'm part of the Illinois Family Council for
Mm.
the Birth to Five
Hmm.
Illinois. And this we have a monthly meeting, and our meeting was this morning. And at the end, I brought up, so I'm showing the documentary again
Yes.
on since this will actually come out before it happens, Tuesday, November 25th at Morton Public Library from 6 to 8. So the registration form is on my Facebook page. I'm sure we could
Link it in
Helen
the
knows how
show
to link it in
notes.
the
I
show notes.
do. I'll do that.
So please join. And if you are not in Morton and want to watch it, email us at wait a minute,
Like,
millennialmomthoughts.podcast. There we go. millennialmomthoughts.podcast@gmail.com. And I will send you a link to view it. There's a couple options to view it. So I have that scheduled. So I brought that up at the meeting this morning, and then two of the gals that, run the meetings were saying, "You do a podcast? We've
Ah,
always wanted to be on a podcast." And you
oh,
know what? I actually think it would be a really good kind of merging of these
yeah.
different minds. And we've talked about having guests. So
Yes.
this is the first time sharing this with you. But we've
I'm
talked about
game.
having guests. But like they're like, we've wanted to be on a podcast. And I wanted to say,
Please invite yourselves to this
yeah,
podcast. I love
not to
it.
downplay our podcast, but it's like it's not the biggest reach, but
Yeah.
certainly that would be a fun way to
Yeah, but it's a
bring some different
platform and they can
voices
share it
into
in
this.
their networks and that's really
Totally.
cool. Right
Yeah.
on. Good
So
job.
I'm gonna figure out how to schedule that. So
Mhm.
hopefully Sunday evenings work for them
Yeah.
too. Um, and then speaking of workshops, so I got an email from Alyssa Williams from
Mm.
at the library director. They started their dyslexia parent group meetings. I don't know
Mm.
if you saw them post about that,
Mm-mm.
which I wanted to jump into because I had gone for dyslexia is very common in case you were unaware of that.
Mhm.
And since doing academic tutoring, I've worked with several students that have dyslexia, and then got connected with this group, Dyslexic Families of Illinois. I think I'm saying that right. Anyways, they had their first meeting last week
Mm.
at the library, a support group for parents, and it got brought up that like they want to have some kind of a executive functioning presentation.
Mm.
And so my name was brought up in the meeting, and she asked if I'd be interested and gave me a few dates, and I said yes.
Heck
And
yes,
so I'm going to do that
Jordan.
in December.
Nice.
Um, she said it's like they meet for an hour, so she said, a 45-minute presentation
Woof.
and then 15 minutes for discussion. I thought, well, I mean, I have 45 minutes worth of things to talk
Yeah.
about, but as in a formalized presentation, probably not so
Hmm.
much. I do much better with like question and answer. And it's a
Yes.
small group, so
Yeah. Yeah.
um
Interactive.
yes, yeah.
Yes.
But I didn't even hesitate. I thought, yes, I will
Hmm.
do that. I'm feeling more comfortable just talking to community members.
That's amazing.
And certainly this podcast is a platform that's helped me
Yeah.
improve, hopefully people think improve my public speaking skills. But I mean I do already have essentially a presentation already put together, so I just have to
Yeah.
tweak it a little bit. But
Right on. That's awesome.
so those are,
Congratulations.
yeah, look at us doing big
Yeah,
things out in this
doing things.
world.
Yes, we are. It's great.
And now,
And now, well, yeah, no.
yeah,
Like you
to,
were saying, this is a challenging topic,
it
but very
is.
important.
It
And
is.
I guess I shouldn't say looking forward to, but I am looking forward to learning from you because it's something that I am certainly aware of, but do not
Yeah.
know a lot about. So I thank you for doing some of this research and bringing
Yeah.
this conversation up because yeah, it's important.
Well, I had recently listened to a podcast episode, which I think I've shared about this podcast here before. I'll bring up the name of it again. um, called Left to Their Own
Mm.
Devices. I think I
Mm-hmm.
brought that up. So this particular episode was called Yahoo Boys, and it just came out. I think was this just like 2 weeks ago? Yeah, October 24th. So really recently. And the title of the episode was called Yahoo Boys. And I don't know that I had ever heard
Mm-mm.
that term before. And so this is a group of Nigerian scammers, and they've not just done sextortion scams, but they are known for many different types of
Mm.
scams. But the most recent, maybe most lucrative for them, thanks to social media, is sextortion. And so, what the definition, if you've not heard of this term before, is it's blending two words: sexual extortion. It's a form of image-based sexual abuse, which includes making threats to distribute intimate images of a victim unless they comply with the perpetrator's behavioral or financial demands. And usually it is financial, but certainly it's more than just these, Yahoo boy scammers doing this. This can happen amongst, It happens with partners or
Mhm.
former partners or
Yeah,
somehow, friends of people
uh-huh.
get your images. It
I think the
happens
first time
widespread.
I had heard of it was through the Can't Look Away documentary, correct? That's one of the
Yes.
families they follow was
Yes.
one of these
Jordan
cases.
DeMay, he was a
Mhm.
17-year-old from Michigan. And I mean, the story is devastating no matter how long it took, but it was less than 6 hours
Mhm.
from start to finish. So I'll kind of summarize that because I wrote about this
Oh,
in
okay.
our notes. So he was, I mean, an all around like a star athlete, involved, good family life, friends, and through Instagram, I believe is where it started. Um, got his account, and I'll go into kind of how they find accounts because
Mm.
that's usually one major piece of this. That there are prevention methods that we can talk about.
Okay.
Found his account and used images of a teenage girl, a pretty teenage girl, pretended to be her, messaged him, and again within 6 hours he died by suicide. So this was a fast situation, flirtatious, pretending to be somebody either at his, I don't know if it was at his school or usually it's like, oh, I go to a nearby
Hmm.
school. Um, Messaged, sent him images, nude images of quote, herself. Obviously, it's not actually her, or they took images
Yeah.
of another
Right.
person, and coerced him to send nude images of himself back.
Hmm.
And once that happened and they got those, it quickly turned to, we have screen captured all of your followers, all of your friends and family. We have these now naked pictures of you. And if you don't give us money, we're sending them to everyone you've ever known and your school and your church and your coaches, all these
Hmm.
people. And we're going to ruin your life. So send us money. And it happens really fast because they don't want to give them time to think about it.
Hmm.
Because the more time that passes, the harder it is for them to get the money. And so he sent money and then they demanded more and he didn't have it. And off, this is all awful, but, he even said, like, the boy, Jordan, said, like, I am going to go kill myself now because of
Hmm.
this. And they said, do it. Like,
Hmm.
do it, or basically, I'll do it for you. Thankfully, through I don't I have the article, but I didn't detail it in our notes. These men were found, and extradited to the U.S. and they are serving. I I don't know when their sentence started, but essentially, like I think it was 17 years. Yeah, 210 months, so about 17 years
Hmm.
in jail, which nothing is going to obviously make up for the loss
Right.
of this young man. But thankfully, there are instances now where people are able to be tracked down and held accountable.
Good.
So the Yahoo Boys, in listening more about them, because that was something I was unfamiliar
Hmm.
with,
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
they're not sophisticated criminals.
Mm.
And what's really troubling to me is when I looked up more about them, they use some different platforms to basically like a playbook for how to do this. And
Mm.
I found them
Mm.
like in one simple search on are you familiar with this platform? Is it Scribed or Scribd?
Um,
SCRIBD?
as like a file sharing
Yeah, I
place.
had
Yeah.
not heard of that
Yeah.
before. So if you look up just the term Yahoo Boys on, is it Scribed or Scribd?
I've
I don't know
always
how to
called it
pronounce it.
Scribdy, but I have no
Oh,
idea. I've
Scribdy.
never
Okay.
heard it said out loud. That's just
Yeah.
in my head when I'm
So
looking
one
up
of the
like free
terms,
ebook version.
yeah. So Scribd,
Yes.
Scribd, Scribd.
Scribbity dibbity.
If you look up Yahoo Boys, it's a PDF and it details, here's how you target women, here's how you target men, here's the full play by play basically of how to complete this.
Hmm.
And I mean, I stopped reading because
Yeah.
it was really obviously troubling and devastating. But they have TikTok videos, they are marketing themselves
Hmm.
online with how to do this because it keeps paying off.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's only, sometimes they only demand small amounts of money because they know that someone's going to do it. It
Mm-hmm.
only takes a few people for them to start getting money. So it's paying off. Um, and then the kind of key takeaways from this one particular podcast episode, the left to their own devices, was that the first step in this is they use a technique called bombing.
Mm-hmm.
And bombing, and here's where there is kind of hopefully a helpful solution or a prevention method. So bombing is where they will target one particular town or community. Um, and they usually start with the school or the like sports teams' social media pages on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram. And so if you have a teenager that has a public Instagram account, or even if it's not public, is tagged like on the school or I'm thinking of like the travel soccer teams or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, maybe it's not even school affiliated. If it's linked to a team, what they do is they find all those accounts and then they add everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And then when, you know, teenager X sees, oh, we have 5 mutuals or 10
Mm-hmm.
mutuals or 20, the more kids that they can have add them, then another kid will see, well, they must be legit
Mm-hmm.
because we have all these mutual friends in common. And, thinking of a community here like Morton, where, we're Washington, East Peoria, like you interact usually through sports and activities and things from with other teens. And so if you see, well, we have all these mutuals, they
Mm-hmm.
must go to that school. I just don't know that particular person.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that would be true in any community.
Right.
So that's step one. That's how they, and it just takes one kid for them to say, yeah, accept their friend request. And then it just starts to snowball because then there's mutuals and you
Mm-hmm.
just assume I know them, or I know, I trust that is a real person because a person I know has them on their account.
Mm-hmm.
So that's step one.
And you said
Um,
that, so where's the prevention measure? Or you want to get to that later?
well, I would say, first of all, not having your teen's Instagram account be public
Mm-hmm.
because then all their images are not publicly accessible.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know, it would be asking or not allowing, I obviously don't have a teenager,
Yeah.
so I'm not entirely sure how it works, but I do see a lot of athletes who are linked or
Mm-hmm.
mentioned on a, school or athletic programs
Mm-hmm.
Instagram account. So if that can stop happening,
Yeah.
that allows less of these,
Mm-hmm.
bombing techniques to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a team that's using Instagram, turn off public view and then also encourage them, if you don't actually know that person
Yeah.
who is requesting to follow you, do not accept it. They might look like a very real person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Even if you have mutuals. And I suppose you could, it's like, hey, ask your friend, do you
Ah.
know this person? Do you actually physically know this person? Have
Mm-hmm.
you seen them? Do you know who they are?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you've got 20, it's like ask 2 of the 20 mutuals. Like, do you know
Mm-hmm.
this person? And if you all start to say, well, no, I just saw they were friends with so and so.
Yeah.
No, I've never met, then you can
Well,
probably decide this is not a real person.
yeah. Why do you need them in your life anyway?
Well, yeah, I
But
mean
I
that leads,
understand how
the
yes, I
whole
know how the brain
the
works.
the brain of I gotta get the
Yeah.
more friends I quote unquote heavy quote unquote
Right.
friends I have, the more popular and the more likes I could get, the more views,
Mm-hmm.
all of those things, which
Yeah.
it appeals to teenagers because
Of
that's what
course.
they're using social media
Yeah.
for. So,
Yeah. Sorry. So I
um,
interrupted you. But
no,
that
no,
was
that's a good that so that would for me
mm-hmm.
that would be a suggestion is turn off public view. I suppose if you do have it on public, I don't. with the sports world and like recruiting. I know that
Hmm.
that's a piece of it of like having your socials and having highlight reels and all
Then,
of that stuff.
yeah. And I would say that that's also a conversation with your teenager then of even, okay,
Well,
this is your
here's a
professional
risk.
page. If this is the professional, stage you're setting for yourself, then
Yeah,
have your personal private page and then have that
exactly.
public page and be very critical about that because that's a real skill in reality that if they are to make it as as an
Yeah.
athlete, as any sort of public figure, like you need to have that kind of mindful engagement
Right.
with
Maybe
whatever
turn off
public facing.
comments.
Yeah.
Maybe if this is a public facing athletic account, it's I don't allow comments on my
Hmm.
page.
That's
And again,
really
they're
interesting though.
private messaging, so
Yeah.
but
Right.
maybe it's
That's
I don't answer private
hmm
messages, or unless it's if it's a coach, then
mm
you should hopefully be able to go to their page and see
hmm
I'm an actual coach, or don't do it through
I
Instagram.
know,
It's
which is
email.
wild to me.
It's
I've heard
email.
these stories from students. They're like, "Oh yeah, the coach just reached
I
out to me on
know.
Instagram." I'm like, are you serious? Are you?
Yeah, and
Yes.
Snapchat. And
Yeah,
Snapchat.
that's absolutely bonkers to me.
I
But
know.
yeah, yeah. But and which is again why having these hard conversations matter because some people just don't understand how other people are nefariously using the same platform
Exactly.
and why it's very dangerous for adults to engage with teenagers, even if it is intended as a
Right.
quasi-professional,
Totally.
yeah. So
Well, and
anyway.
I've always thought, thinking of communicating, like if it's a sports or extracurricular or church or or school, whatever, it should be done through email. I know
Mm-hmm.
that's clunky. I know it's not common,
But
but
there's a reason why
especially
it's
for
clunky and not
school,
flashy and
exactly.
yeah.
So much, talk about we will talk about grooming.
Mm-hmm.
So much of that happens on platforms, especially Snapchat is very appealing because the messages disappear.
Mm-hmm.
So it's deleting automatically the evidence
Yeah.
of harm. And so that's what the, you know, these perpetrators are wanting to do is they want to get you off of a platform that tracks their bad behavior. But I would think anybody in education, I mean, I felt that way when I would never give a student my personal cell
No.
phone number.
Yeah.
Um, and I know there are instances it's like, well, I have a babysitter, like this
Mm-hmm.
kid has to have my phone number because they're
Mm-hmm.
my babysitter. I would say that's probably the rare occurrence, but as far as anything school related, I want it all on school email because
Mm-hmm.
that is tracked and
Yes.
can be looked up at any
Yeah.
time.
Yep.
And I always knew or assumed every email I am sending is being
Mm-hmm.
read, and
Mm-hmm.
that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfectly fine by me.
Mm-hmm.
I've had this conversation with Brian just about,
Yeah.
like his band students.
Yeah.
Like I know, he's obviously doesn't work at the high school,
Yeah.
but I've said, I know you are innocently messaging, it's very
Mm-hmm.
bland stuff about rehearsals and dates and
Yeah.
whatever. Like, I really think you should be doing this all through email.
Mm-hmm.
I just or some, if there's some kind of app or platform that
Yeah. Yeah.
the band is it called Charms? I forget.
I've
There's something
heard
that
that, but yeah, I'm not familiar with what
yeah.
it is, but I know I had heard them talk about it. It does remind me too that at one point I was back in my like old email that I would have had in junior high and saw emails that I sent to Mrs. F like as a seventh
Oh,
grader. And
really?
like I thought that it
Well,
was
not your
fun to
school email, right?
not
Because you
what
didn't.
we didn't have school emails, no. So this was my personal
Oh,
email to her school email.
got it.
Um, and it was like, "What's up?" Like
Oh,
literally,
stop
probably like,
it.
and like I would put like,
Uh,
a bunch of letters at the end of a word. Just 'cause
oh
I
my
don't really
gosh.
know what my thinking was there, if I was being cute or obnoxious or
A little bit of
how she
both.
took that in the year in like the early 2000s.
Oh,
What
that's
was the vibe then?
hilarious.
But yeah, it was like just letting you know my reeds broke. Or it wasn't, I wasn't that obnoxious, but
Yeah.
there was a time that my clarinet broke the night before all district auditions, and that was
Ruh-roh.
very scary. And
Scary.
then I brought it to her and she fixed it in like a snap. So
Well, there you go.
magic. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny
Anyway,
you have those.
it
Yeah,
is, yeah. I don't know if I could get back into that account now, but it's there.
I just in this day and age,
Hmm.
you want to cover your I mean for your
Yes.
own self
Yeah.
as the adult who is actually not doing something wrong.
Hmm.
You want to be covered so that if there would be any accusation, how, horrifying, but any accusation, it's
Hmm.
like it's all here,
Yeah.
like I have
Yes.
it's all covered.
Yeah.
Um yeah, okay.
So
So
anyway, yeah.
that kind of
Step
talks
one, the
step
bombing,
one,
how
bombing.
they find you and how they start these interactions, perhaps.
There are some other platforms. The number one platform they find kids on, and usually this is targeting males,
Mm.
male teens,
Hmm.
because they are the most likely to send them, and
Mm.
they are the most likely to pay.
Mm.
So males are the target. So if you have a
Okay.
teenage boy, preteen teenage, or even 20s, early 20s, um, they are the target, and it's working. And terrifyingly, sadly, devastatingly, many of these are leading to suicide because the fear of being exposed
Mm.
and this very private, intimate moment that they thought was private is so just horrendously embarrassing for them, and like just devastating that they cannot see out of it, and so they they decide to take their
Mm.
lives, and it's awful. Snapchat is the second most common tool that they use, and then something called Wiz. Have you ever heard of Wiz? I
I
looked it
not
up.
in this context.
Wizz is the app.
Okay.
I looked it up because I had not heard of this or used it.
Uh-uh.
It's fairly new, but here's their tagline on their website. Wiz is about creating moments of joy, understanding, and shared experiences. After looking more at it and reading about it, it is Tinder, but for friends, for teen friends or
Oh,
young adults.
yeah.
So you don't know these people, and
Yeah.
it's encouraging you to like make friends out of
Hmm.
yeah, make friends from strangers. So, wow, what a great platform for predators to jump right on in there. So if
Right. Yeah.
you've got a teen using Wiz,
Get
this
him
is a
out.
definitely, yeah, it's a concern. Um, oh my goodness. Okay, so I talked about bombing and how they get there. Yeah, they pretend to be girls. It starts flirtatious, and then they quickly flip the script.
Mm.
Um, okay, so there's now, kind of a new bringing in AI into this. And I said, so the term is now commonly used as called CSAM, or
Mm.
again, child sexual abuse materials. I think it's really important and I wish the media would stop kind of perpetuating this, but calling things child pornography,
Hmm.
because pornography, I think, implies consent, like consent,
Mm.
because you're engaging in something. I mean, I suppose not always, but
Hmm.
um, adults engaging in
Hmm.
consensual, this is not real. Anyways,
Hmm.
so
I know. I
calling it,
understand.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm flumbling my
Flumbling. I
words.
love that.
That's
No,
that's
but
another
I
word.
100% agree that calling things what they are and being as
Yeah,
specific and
like this is abuse
yeah.
material. This is
Yeah.
not pornography that
Hmm.
you're going to a website to. Anyways, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So child CSAM, child sexual abuse materials. Well, AI comes into play,
Hmm.
and now some of the targets are using apps that will quote unquote, and I think that I don't know if this one still exists, but nudify. Have you heard
Oh,
of this?
no.
So they will take your image,
Mm.
and it goes through an AI app, and it turns you naked, and it looks
Hmm.
incredibly real.
Wow.
So they will take someone's fully clothed photo, and it now looks like this person took a nude and sent it to someone, and now they have your nude. And they are doing this to kids
Hmm.
and saying, I have a naked picture of you, and do what I want or else.
Hmm.
Or this is happening even at school. Like they are, kids are nudifying
Hmm.
other kids' pictures
Wow.
without their knowledge, clearly without their consent, but they are producing
Hmm.
CSAM in the process. So even though it is not a real image,
Yeah.
it is still an image of a naked child.
Dang. Dang.
It
And is
is,
this being like tested in courts right now? Like I would imagine that this is
I,
in the
I,
same way that copyright laws are being challenged in completely new
I
ways
would
with
hope
intellectual property,
so.
the ways that, yeah, I
I
hope it
did
is
not
very clear that
look
this
up the
is,
legal,
yeah,
realm of
yeah,
this yet. I just wanted kind of to define what it was
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
make you aware that these apps exist. I cannot, I mean I can, but I cannot
Hmm.
believe that there is an app or not
Hmm.
multiple, not just one. I mean,
Of course.
just
Yeah.
Google it. Good grief. There are multiple ways for you to take an image, a real image, and make it naked. I
Hmm.
don't understand why someone was like, this is a good idea. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this app.
Hmm.
Horrible. Of course, they're going to put pictures of children in because
Yeah.
of course they are. Anything that starts out, that didn't even start out good, but anything that
No,
starts
it
out
had to
good,
it start out
it's like,
exploitative and that's,
why does
yeah.
that exist?
Yeah.
So now those images are being
Hmm.
uploaded and shared and
Hmm.
live on the internet. Um, and it's horrifying. So I did read a statistic that in December of 2024, the stat is over the past 2 years, so the prior 2 years, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, their
Hmm.
cyber tip line, received more than 7,000 reports related to the generative AI child exploitation materials. But they already know there are so many more that are
Hmm.
unreported, and unidentified. So
Hmm.
people that don't
They
even
don't even
know that
know.
this has
Yeah.
happened to
Yeah.
them, which is why there are warnings about uploading pictures of your
Yeah.
minor children online, which I think about that too. I think
Hmm.
I wrestle with putting any pictures I do. I upload pictures of Camden and Lily online. I
Hmm.
don't set it to public, but it only takes one person, and it's unfortunately tends to be people you know. I mean, that's how
Hmm.
these images are getting out there because it's someone you know. Um, and so it's really made me that just kind of working on this episode in particular has made me really think about is am I going to continue putting pictures of Camden and Lily online?
Hmm.
I I don't I don't know that I should be doing that
Hmm.
anymore.
I know. It's so
It,
hard
it's really hard because
because
you
there's
do
so many
want to
different ways.
share.
Yeah, you do.
And
Yeah.
it's with, it's
Yeah.
for a lot of people, since we don't live near any family,
Hmm.
um, we we don't see people regularly,
Hmm.
and or it's a distant relative, or just like a friend of
Hmm.
is in our lives and we don't see on a regular basis.
Hmm.
It's like that's how they get their
Of
updates.
course. Yeah.
But is that how I want people to get our life up
I
updates
know.
anyways?
Yeah.
So it's really
Yeah, but it
it's
is part of a discourse community. Like these are the expectations of, or not even like
yes.
meeting others' expectations, but it is just such a
It's a norm.
normalized way
Yeah,
of communicating and sharing and in a lot of cool and beautiful way, you're right? Because
right.
the
Right.
very hard thing about social media is that it can and does serve a multitude of purposes
It
or be
does.
used in a multitude of ways.
Yeah, good
Um,
and bad,
Good
clearly.
and bad, exactly. So I don't know. I do, yeah. I
It's
likewise have
really made
a
me
hard
start to
time
think.
like locking things down completely. I just, also for a multitude of reasons, decided the majority of things that I share of my baby are on my, what do you call it, on Snap or not Snapchat, on
Yeah.
Instagram, my
It's
close
like a
friends. Like I just made a
preferred
list and
list.
told
Yeah.
people if you want to be on here, I'd happily add you. Um, I have not shared anything there lately because I more and more, Jordan, I'm just like I'm locking myself out, I should say. I feel like I've been purposefully spending less and less time on there
Yeah.
on any social media just because I can't handle it right now.
Yeah.
I'm leaning into my Substack a bit more. I'm building a little bit of community there, which is really cool. And for now,
Yeah.
still seems to be a overall positive, uplifting, and educational place for me. Like the algorithm has started to figure me out a bit in a good
Yeah.
way,
Oh,
that
I'm
it's
sure.
connecting me with other educators and writers that I'm really interested in. But yeah, then more and more out of habit, will find myself on Instagram and then just be like, I just don't care.
Yeah.
But I do a little
Yeah.
bit, and then then I see some things that spark joy or interest in whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, Mitch is also on a journey right now of dumbing down his phone. Like
Oh,
he
is
downloaded
he?
an app that like simplifies everything to
Okay.
where like the apps are still there, but you kind of have to go through a process to get to
To
them.
get to
And
him.
so his home screen is just this widget that says like messages, phone, what are like the basic functions,
Yeah.
camera.
Put him
Um,
6 screens deep. It's like you have to
hmm
swipe through and put him in a bunch
Uh-huh.
of folders
And
and
it's all in grayscale too. So I'm this was like a pretty quick thing that he just like thought about and started doing just this weekend. I'm gonna see
oh
how
wow.
his journey
Okay.
goes. He cracked me up last night at dinner. I don't even remember what he was talking about, but some wild niche, like in-depth thoughts he was having on something. And then he's like, yeah, this is all that space that's freed up since I I don't have a smartphone anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's a good
And it was
point.
tongue in cheek, but it
Yeah.
was true. Yeah, no, it was cute. It was funny. But yeah, that's kind of what I feel like I'm on a slower journey in that
Yeah.
direction. But that is
Same.
where I feel myself going lately because yeah, yeah, low tech. I just need GPS. I think I'm gonna get a camera soon, like so have an actual camera, and then
Yeah.
really all I would need phone for is
I know.
communicating and getting places.
Well, I've joined I've joined a book club, but I actually haven't read the book yet. I'm really just there for the discussion. It's every
Mhm.
other Friday.
The
The
snacks, yes. Kidding, I'm
it's
sure
it's
it's virtual.
virtual.
Yeah.
It's virtual. Yeah, through Smartphone Free Childhood, and
Okay,
just
yeah.
because I learned so much and get so many ideas, but um, oh, I wish it was. What's the name of the book? Is it Beyond Screens, Desmarget? I'll say it. I'm going to read it. I
Hmm.
just ordered it, and it's going to get here. And I tried. It doesn't exist at our library, and it
Hmm.
also doesn't exist at the Carmel Library because I use my mom's
Oh yeah,
my mom's card.
absolutely. I've got about
Um,
7 different library accounts
yeah,
all
I
around this country.
so it didn't exist there. Um, but I think yeah, it must be called Beyond Screens. Anyways, they were going over one of the chapters and just talking about it morphed into a conversation of like how we listen to music and how we're just
Mm-hmm.
our phone is almost it started to like tie our hands to how we do access different media.
Hmm.
And like for me, it's the
Yeah.
camera.
Yeah.
The camera is so good. The
Hmm.
quality, it's better than the special, nice digital camera I bought back
Hmm.
when Brian and I went on our honeymoon. So in 2018, it's like the the quality of photos, it's still
Hmm.
good. It's still a good
Yeah.
camera, but the quality of pictures and the detail
And
are just so much better
hmm
from my iPhone camera.
and the ease of access and
And the
the
ease of
use
access and
and the usability
uploading.
too. Yeah.
Yes. And the
Yeah.
sort, it's already
It
dated.
is.
Oh, anyways.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
know with a digital camera it's dated too.
Hmm.
Um,
But it
but you
requires
have to
more,
like
it's
type it in and,
yeah, more of a
set
skill
it
and
on
more
your,
of a time, more of an intention and
yeah.
more of
And
a
I don't
forward
know how to
thinking
use
of
all of
yeah,
the pieces
yeah,
in there, the
yeah,
aperture and the f-stop,
exactly.
all of those
Yeah.
things that would
Yeah.
make a really great photo that
Yes.
my phone just does for me
Yeah.
because it's programmed to do that.
Hmm.
So we talked about, yeah, how to basically like de not decompose your phone.
Hmm.
What word am I looking for? Taking apart.
Mm,
Uh,
not
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 decompensate.
decompose, demystify,
What is the word
deactivate,
I'm
detension,
Okay, when
delicious,
restaurants
Sunny D,
take
Sunny D,
no.
Chinese buffet, Helen puking her guts out in the car on the way home,
Ew,
Christmas
gross. That's not
2000
what I was
something.
thinking
Oh,
of.
okay. Sorry. Go on. I thought that's
When a
what you were thinking
restaurant
of.
does something that they like take
Deconstructed.
Deconstructed.
I think I just yelled into the
Thank
microphone.
you.
Apologies for that. But
You were just so excited. That's what I
like,
want. A deconstructing your phone, not decomposing. Anyways, and so okay, now
yeah,
I need to bring back a CD player.
yeah.
I need to like I would love to bring back my
I
iPod, but
suppose that's the other thing too is music,
I
but
do
that's
believe
Mitch is
it
talking about
died.
getting an iPod and
Yeah.
buying CDs and
Yes. Well, I still have all my CDs at my
yeah,
parents' house.
yeah.
Good grief. I never got rid of them.
Hmm.
Plus, I miss reading the CD inserts. I stinking loved and all the
Hmm.
pictures and
Hmm.
like who wrote what songs,
Well,
like the lyric,
yeah,
all of
yes.
that. That's
Yeah.
totally missed in the experience of music
Hmm.
now when it's just streaming on your phone and you can I mean, I make playlists, but and
Hmm.
just having to listen from start to finish a full album,
Hmm.
I mean, that's missed.
Absolutely.
I know this
When
is
my
totally
parents
off
were,
topic,
oh
but
no, you're good. I knew we would get, it's like
I
this is,
know we always
and we
do,
will
but
return. Well, we'll make sure
yes, yes.
we are.
We'll circle back.
But one of the things I grabbed from my parents' house, they were getting rid of most of the DVDs. I was like, yeah, no, we don't need DVDs. There's
Yeah.
some VHSs that I'm like, I wouldn't be able to find this anywhere else. Like, let's hang on to these
Yeah.
because these are classic. And I love my Little People Christmas movie. I think I talked
Yeah,
about,
you talked about
was
that.
that just last week or whatever?
Yeah.
But I did save my Gilmore Girls box set because I
Oh
was like,
yeah.
into the world if anything happens and like all the clouds go down and everything
Right.
breaks, but I still have my DVDs, like I could survive the rest of my life just watching all
Yeah.
7 seasons, although I'm missing season two.
Uh-oh.
But it's fine. That's not one of
It's
the
a
better
minor
ones.
season.
It is a minor season, honestly. It's like we introduced Jess, but other than that, it's
I'm in
nothing.
season 2 right now.
Oh my
It's funny you
God,
say that.
really? Okay,
Yeah.
well, the thing about the box set though is that it has these inserts of the Gilmoreisms. And it's like an alphabetized list of
Oh.
all the pop culture
See?
and like political references they make. And yeah, no, it's great. It's so cute. Oh my gosh, is this your first watch?
No, 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 no.
Okay.
I usually it's been years. It's been
Yeah.
like multiple years,
Yeah.
but I
Did we just become a Gilmore Girls rewatch pod?
oh my gosh, what if we're like
Sorry, sextortion.
sorry guys. I know we were talking about sextortion and how fun of a
Yes.
topic that is, but we're
Yes.
switching
We'll get your
to
new friends on
Gilmore
here
Girls.
and see if they're
Yeah, in the
whose
fall
team they're
it
on.
feels like Gilmore
Such
Girls,
a
and then
fall
in
show.
the winter
Yes.
I watch Downton Abbey.
Oh,
I rewatch Downton
I
Abbey.
okay, this might become a Downton Abbey party because I want to just go back to the beginning. I've fell off
Oh,
the train. I've missed a
so good.
lot, but I
You
think
haven't seen them all?
so I think the way to do it would be
Ellen.
to go back to the beginning, watch the ones I
Yes.
have seen like 80 times because we had the
Oh
DVDs
my
for the first
gosh.
couple seasons and then
Yeah.
just go all the way through.
Masterpiece
Yeah.
Theater.
Oh.
Oh, it's so
Oh,
good.
okay.
If you haven't watched Downton Abbey, go watch Downton Abbey.
Do
I
it.
don't,
Go look at a screen. This is the one time.
yeah, it's beautiful. Oh, it's so good. Maggie Smith, come on.
Oh,
Okay.
the Disney.
Oh boy, I'm so sorry that
So,
I'm gonna have to bring us
segue,
back.
bringing it back. It
This
all
really, really
connects.
dark topic.
That
But
people use social media in different ways, so we have to be
yes,
aware and have to be
yes,
critical of our own use because sometimes we don't realize that. And I guess we were talking more about pictures too, and
yeah. Oh
posting
yeah,
pictures and what we
uploading
do, and just
pictures.
thinking about the potential consequences
Yeah,
when we make these choices, because everything is a choice, even when these apps make it seem like we're not making choices and we don't have agency. I think
right,
that's key here because I think that's exactly what gets exploited
right. I
in
did want
these.
to kind of bring up some of the stats that
Mm-hmm.
because they are jaw-dropping, but yet also again, probably not that surprising. Um, but 1 in 5 teens say that they have been sextorted, which is just
Yeah.
wild. And then 1 in 5 said they know someone, which again,
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense, who has not themselves, but they know someone that has been sextorted.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is not all Nigerian scammers, but these
Mm-hmm.
are, and it's not always just for money. So it
Mm-hmm.
might be to pressure to send more or
Mm-hmm.
pressure to, kind of up send videos,
Mm-hmm.
send explicit videos, or do something in real life, something
Mm-hmm.
that they are not willing to do, sexual or not. So One in three victims knew their perpetrator
Mm,
offline. So it's either maybe a former partner or a school peer or friend or a trusted adult or even a family member. Um, but the rise in the financial sextortion piece, that is increasing. I
mm,
don't have the stat on that, but it was, I don't know if it was like 1,000 has increased 1,000% in a year or something, but it was astronomical. So technology obviously increases that ability because so much of our lives
mhm,
are online. Um, and teenagers don't have full control of their rational brains. That's not
mhm,
been developed yet, like we've talked about. And so they're making these quick decisions, not fully thought out.
mhm,
And the consequences are, you know, often lifelong or very
mhm,
long, or in some cases devastating because they end their lives.
mhm.
So other than that, I think I don't remember what episode it was on, and this is super super brief, but I had mentioned, and mine was back using AOL Instant
Oh,
Messenger,
yeah.
that
Yeah.
I had in my teenage years, um gotten contacted. Again, I don't know what it would have, it had to have been on Instant Messenger, and I assume some kind of a chat room of like
Mhm,
common topics. It was probably NSYNC, who knows, I don't
mhm.
know. It's like enter an NSYNC chat room,
Yeah.
and then but someone was
Yeah.
saying, I don't remember the specifics. I just know that it was sexual in
Mhm,
nature, and it made me super uncomfortable, but I didn't tell anybody
mhm,
because I felt like I had done something wrong. Like
mhm,
I don't want to get in trouble for
mhm,
causing this. And I was even, raised to believe, thanks to my mom, like everybody online is some 60-year-old in the basement
mhm,
man. Like
mhm,
that was just drilled into me even early on. So I appreciate that my mom put that,
mhm,
um, basically fear and skepticism of everyone online. So,
mhm.
um,
Yeah.
yeah. And then also thinking of later in my like dating life,
Mhm,
I obviously have talked about I used Tinder since that's how I
mhm,
met Brian, but oh man, I used other ones too. And I will not even repeat, but I have been sent some of the most disgusting,
mhm,
sexual, foul messages.
mhm.
Um, and so that's just commonplace
Yeah.
online.
People are messed
And
up.
yeah, I was not even in this era of using, I mean, I guess Instagram existed, but it wasn't being
Mhm,
used like that. So
mhm.
anyways, or if it was, it wasn't as certainly as common as it
Yeah.
is now,
Mhm,
or more common.
mhm.
So I don't know. Any other
Yeah.
thoughts,
I,
reflections,
you know, I
experience
think I
of
can't remember if
yours?
I think I shared at some point when you talked initially about the kind of chat room experience as well. I likewise
Yeah,
had something similar as a pretty young kid from what I remember. And I
yeah,
think just hearing you talk and what you've also made me think about is just as parents, obviously right now we have young kids, but like
right.
knowing that as they grow up, I just want to make sure that I do everything I can. Like I know kids are kids and parents are parents, but I want to do everything I can to be able to have open dialogue and to be
Yes.
able, I'm trying to remember exactly the wording, but like you can tell me everything and ask me anything. It's just like I want that to be my guiding mantra with
Yeah,
her because I want her to know that like you can ask me anything, you can tell me everything and like that is okay. We'll go for, no matter what it is, because it's just so scary to think that like for not yet developed prefrontal cortexes
yeah,
that the choice of like, do I give money to this stranger or
right.
do I
To
tell my
make it
mom
go
that something
away.
weird is happening are like equally right? Like
Yeah,
that those can feel like equally strong threats or there's better words to
yeah,
use here. But you know what I'm saying? It's just like
yeah, yeah.
how do we also
Both are
open these
scary
dialogues with
situations
yeah,
if you're in
yeah.
it.
And how do we open these dialogues without like, scaring kids as well unnecessarily that like you don't need to know
Yeah.
all the
Well,
awful things that could happen, but you need to be aware of possibilities that bad things can happen.
I've
So,
started, and it's because of one of these, kind of trusted accounts, Protect Young Eyes. And his name, I'm blanking on his last name. It's Chris. Shoot, I can't remember. But Protect Young Eyes um, talks about you can talk about what pornography is
hmm.
in an age appropriate
Yeah,
way, starting at age 5.
call things
And
what they are.
and
Yeah.
so I did. I have now just kind of sprinkled in conversations with Camden
Hmm.
about if anybody would ever show you a picture or a video of people not wearing their clothes, you need to tell me or
Hmm.
another adult, if it's at school, tell your teacher,
Hmm.
because we shouldn't see other people's naked bodies.
Hmm.
That's not something that you're supposed to see. And if somebody would ask you to have, to take a picture of your
Hmm.
naked body, you would say no, and then you would come tell me about it.
Hmm.
And so it's not anything that's threatening, or
Right.
I'm not using the word
Hmm.
pornography, or
Hmm.
abuse. I'm just telling him if someone shows you a
Yeah.
naked picture, you tell them, I don't want to see that. And then you come tell
Hmm.
me what
Hmm.
happened. So it's not
Hmm.
you're in trouble, you did anything wrong,
Yep.
but it's just making him aware this is not a
That's not
normal
normal.
or
Yeah.
okay, acceptable thing, whether it's
Hmm.
a kid or an adult.
Hmm.
It's no
Hmm.
age should show you
Hmm.
a naked picture
Hmm.
or
Good for
video.
you. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
did. I
Yeah.
started doing that. And,
Yeah.
he listens to like 2 seconds
Yeah.
and then we play Legos,
But
but he hears it, and you have to
of
say it
course.
again and
Yeah.
again and again and
Yeah.
again. So it's
Yeah.
not just a one time, oh,
Hmm.
I did it. I said it.
Hmm.
It's
Check.
multiple
Yeah.
times. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do.
Mm.
I'm working that into conversation here
Hmm.
and there because it is happening.
Hmm.
We can't put our heads in the sand. We just can't.
Hmm.
And so I would rather him be armed with the knowledge and understanding of, oh, I remember my mom said,
Hmm.
if there's a naked picture or naked video, like I need to tell her.
Hmm.
And I know he will.
Yeah.
He tells me lots of things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess that maybe that's the
That's
takeaway is that
yeah.
you can have these difficult conversations at
Hmm.
any age and make them age appropriate, and it doesn't have to be using the word sexual abuse or
Hmm.
sextortion. With teenagers, I was reading, here's you say to your teenage boy, do not send a picture of your penis to anyone.
Hmm.
And it's just that simple. Like, do not take and send a picture of your
Hmm.
penis to anyone,
Hmm.
or to your daughter. Do not take a
Yeah.
picture of your breasts and your
Yeah.
vagina to anyone.
Yeah.
And it's just that blunt, and it's that like you just say
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
So I think even if that's uncomfortable, well, that moment of uncomfortable conversation could potentially save you years and years and years of harm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there you go.
Absolutely. Dang, Jordan. This
Whew.
was a good one. Meaning we did what we set up to do on this podcast, which is
Yeah,
having conversations about things that we
they're
are learning
happening.
about and that are happening around us and that we
Yeah,
need to talk about and that hopefully people can hear and learn from and also continue the conversations in their own lives as well. So
right. It
thank you
is
again
happening
for,
here. It's
yeah,
happening. I have
yes,
students that have told me
yeah,
they have sent and
yeah,
received nudes. I
yeah,
know this is
yeah.
happening.
I know
So,
the 1 in 5 statistic, like it's
you know a
jarring. And then
kid,
you think, well, yeah, you think about a
think of your
classroom. It's like
classroom.
that's a fifth of the classroom at
Exactly. Have
least. And
20
that,
kids in
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So,
Devastating. It's happening.
yep. So
Well, with that, I
back
will back
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 into
to
the
my
cold.
normal ending, but put on a coat, get a blanket,
Hmm.
still get fresh air. It is
Hmm.
crisp and it will maybe burn your lungs a little bit, but it's still good. It's still
I
good.
plan to go out and run tomorrow morning,
Yeah,
23 degrees, baby. I'm pumped.
get it.
I can't do it every day, but I like a good like
That'll wake you up.
Life affirming. Yes.
Yeah,
Run in the cold wind. Let's do it.
I
This
will
also
not be
reminds me
running.
that the moment I get out of this Zoom, I need to put the laundry in the dryer. Otherwise,
Mm.
I will not be running because otherwise I would be wearing damp, stinky clothes.
No, not good.
Yeah,
Don't do
no.
that. Wear fresh clothes, everybody, says Helen.
That's gonna be my new sign off.
That's your sign off. Wear
You
fresh
wear
clothes.
fresh
You know what?
clothes.
Some weeks you can't, though. Let's be real. Some weeks you
Uh-huh.
get behind on the laundry. I'm
Absolutely.
living that right now. So wear as
That
fresh of clothes as
wears
you possibly can and get
touch
outside.
grass. And thank you for listening. Podcast music is by Brian Spickelmeyer. Jordan Spickelmeyer does social media. I'm Helen Plevka-Jones, and I do the audio editing. What do I say? Now oh no.
You're catching
I'm
something.
getting the yips on this. Yeah.
You're catching
I'm
something.
catching you. Oh my God. See it on the flippity flip. Goodbye.